looking for somebody on top of that hill. I don't know if they got an outpost over there or what, but he's landed. I did see the biggest crow I've ever seen in my life earlier. It was a giant crow. It was like, it was sitting on top of the trailer. There's some of them over there. So he's the, I think he landed right there on top of that deal. Look how big them crows are. Can you see it? Look how big them crows are. They're enormous. Yeah, he landed right there. I guess that's where they landed. Yeah, we're at the pilot over here at Lebec. This is, we're up on top of the mountain. So the mountain's pretty cool. It's very vivid. I don't think this is showing it. But the, I don't know what to say about this place. I definitely stop here every chance. This is one of my places to work out. There's a fence right over there. There's a fence right there at the back. But you can go over there and there's a gap in the fence. But it goes down real far so you can't go back up. But the air is super crisp up here. Very good place to work out. I think this is, I want to say 4,400. That's what the sign said. So it's pretty good elevation. It's a good place to, you know, get your wind. Oh. Yeah, that's what it looks like inside the truck. A little bit quieter in here. But yeah, that's just, it's cool how, and that fog's burning off. At the bottom of the hill, he was talking about, there were signs, fog on top of the hill. There was a couple guys broke down. And man, could you imagine that driving up a mountain and your truck breaks down the day before Thanksgiving? What a need for prayer. Yeah, those crows though. There was one, he was sitting right on the back of that trailer, and when you see something sitting on top of the trailer, it seems bigger because you never see nothing up there. It's like you see the truck and you think, wow, that's a big old truck and everything. But the truck is 13'6". So you get a 2-foot tall crow set on top of it. I mean, it don't even look real. It's like, man, is that real? You know, because it's so big. That's just one of the funny things you'll find out here on the road. These mountains are real cool. I like them. There's a deal up here, Pyramid. Look at how big that sucker is. Look at his wingspan. That thing has got I'm going to say a 3.5 to 4 foot wingspan on them things. I wish one of them would land right here. There's one. There he is. Look at how big that dude is. Now those are street lights at a truck stop. And them birds are bigger than them lights. That's not your average light outside of a shop or whatever. You know what I mean? Look at how big he is. They're just ridiculous. Look at, there's one landed on the ground. Look how tall he is. He ain't even tried to stand up straight or nothing. And he's half the size of that wheel. Now we know that's a 22.5-inch wheel plus the rubber. Look, there's one of them on the, see how big he looks on the deal? They just look enormous when they stand on top of the truck. It's wild. See him? I just get a kick out of him. There he goes. It's just a trip to me. Here they come. They're coming over here. There he is. There he goes. Yeah, the crows are crazy up here, and they're even bigger in New Mexico. I had one land. I was eating a burrito at a roach coach. I walked over there a little ways. There was a place to sit down, and I sat down to eat. And that crow just landed right there on the table like he was my friend or something. And it was like a picnic table. And me and that crow was just looking at each other face to face. And that thing's beak was, I mean, the full size of my hand. Like, I mean, it was the full size. Like finger, all the way from the wrist to the tip of the finger. That's how big that thing's beak was. I was just like, well, hello. And he just kind of looked at me a little bit, so I tore him off a piece of that tortilla and gave it to him. And he just sat there and ate. He wasn't scared or nothing. I was just like, this is a trip. And I guess them crows are pretty smart. And they, see, look, I'm next to them little birds. Them crows are pretty smart, and they will, they can talk, dude. They can talk. And they'll sound like a, you know, like a parrot. It's got that parrot sound to it. But those crows, they'll bark like a dog, or they'll say words, and yeah. So if you're out in the woods and you get all creeped out because you heard somebody say something, there's a good chance it's just a bird. It's not just the crows that do it. And there's some water birds up there at the farm. And they make the most god-awful sound you ever heard in your life. I mean, like, if you was to, like, just warp a Sasquatch with a baseball bat, it probably wouldn't make that sound. I mean, it's like, howl or whatever. I mean, it's loud, and I can't describe the sound. I would love to get it on film one of these days. I remember me and Tracy was out there on the back deck. That sound comes across there, or whatever. But it sounds like something getting kicked in the gut or something, you know what I mean? And it's super loud. And Tracy, you know, she don't hardly cuss. And she goes, what the fuck was that? You know? And I'll never forget that. That'll be one of them ones we'll watch that replay in heaven and get a kick out of that deal. But it's the big old white birds. And they hang out there in Oklahoma. They make the wildest sound you'll ever hear. And I guarantee you, many a city folk has broken run at the sound of them birds. And them birds, they're smart. They are smart. And there was a guy that was doing, he would feed them birds. So when it dropped a cigarette butt in the thing, a piece of food would drop out of the bottom. And he had them birds. Them birds would bring cigarette butts, drop them in the thing or whatever, and he had them trained to clean up. So I thought that was pretty cool. I didn't know him or nothing. I just seen I think it was in a documentary. Anyway, that's what we're doing. We're going to head down into L.A. Doing real good. I'm at the top of the mountain and I got 9.6 mileage. I got it all the way up to 10.6. Had the cruise set at 58 miles an hour. Speed limit's 55. Everybody speeds. And I took off driving. I was running about 70. And I was empty. And I was like, dang, I was getting better fuel mileage when I was loaded. Then I remembered, hey, I'm in California, so I slowed down. And I got till 2 o'clock to be there. And it's only noon on the East Coast. That thing's on East Coast time. So, yeah, at 2 o'clock West Coast time, I've got a plethora of time. Probably 4 or 5 hours. And of course, it's probably 2 hours to drive over there. So, I'm about 3 hours ahead of schedule. So I thought, you know, why not just get the best fuel mileage I could get? And we got her up to 10.6. But I'm up on top of the hill. They call this the Grapevine. This is Lebec, California. And you see those power lines up there like that. Now, the power lines are good because somebody drove up there and got equipment up there. So there's some kind of a road, right? but you kind of shoot yourself in the foot being that close to high voltage, right? See, there's some right there too, on top of that hill, straight above that Swift truck. I don't know if you can see it or not. Anyway, that string of line going through there, you could put on your hiking boots and make it up through there or whatever else like that. But the even just the push-ups and stuff here is good. And then I like to walk. I just got done doing a short walk, and got me a new coffee cup. Oh, look, twins. Oh, twins. That one on the right, I made green tea, and I wanted to make coffee, and so I just got me a new coffee cup or whatever. I had to call in because they didn't register my receipt on the app. So I called in. They fixed everything for the whole month and posted it and everything like that. And they gave me $38 worth of points because of all the stuff. Their system's been messed up or whatever. So anyway, they updated the whole thing, and now finally the new fuel card's on there. So finally got the fuel card straightened out. So both fuel cards are working, and the fog's burning off. About the time that fog's done, I'll head across the deal. It's 65 degrees, so I mean, a lot of people are cold, and then the weather was bad. And by the time I get this load, and I'm going to McAllen, which is on the Mexican border, so I'm going to run across the bottom, let everybody get thawed out over the weekend and stuff like that, grab another one, and just keep getting it. And the wife's Christmas present will be, I can say this because she don't ever watch these, but she's been part of our budget system was paying monthly for the insurance. So see, we got insurance on the cars and the house, and then like your taxes, the tag on the vehicles, and inspection stickers and all that stuff. I call all that together my escrow, right? So that's about $1,100 a month, and I paid the taxes, and then I'm about $1,000 ahead on my budget right now. And this load here is about a $2,000 check. So when the first hits, the mortgage money's already set there. There's $1,000 in the hole. This will hit, so that's about $3,000. So I think it's $37,000. I dropped that $37,000 on the insurance, and then I don't have to pay anything. My escrow is completely paid for the year 2025. So that saves her from making a payment, because she's make a payment every month and have 14 things going type of person, and I'm like, pay one time for the year kind of guy, because I got too much going on. I don't want to make 12 payments to the insurance company. You know what I mean? And then sometimes I can talk to him and get a better deal. Be like, hey, well, I'm going to bundle this, and then, hey, I'm going to pay you 100% of that right now. Give me a 10% discount. You know what I mean? And they'll do it. They will. Most of the time, they will. They won't do it unless you ask them, though. And see, that's one of the things that gets real about being a truck driver. So when you're talking to these people about hauling these loads and doing stuff, they're like, yeah, haul this load, blah, blah, blah. It's $4,800. And you're like, yeah, man, but shoot, it's 2,300 miles and everything, and I got some tolls, and everything. So if you'll give me 53, that'll be good. I say, well, we'll do it for 5,000. How's that sound? I'll say, well, 5,000, and then if there's a lumper, you pay the lumper, and they'll be like, deal. You know what I mean? So I talked myself into extra $200, and then whatever it cost. If there's sometimes you got to pay to get them to unload the stupid trailer, and they'll give me a link that I can send that link to the broker, and then the broker has to pay that straight out of his pocket. Like, I won't even leave. I'll just sit there till they pay it. And then a lot of times, the lumper service will be like, hey, if you make us wait, then we're going to charge you all this extra money. Which is already ridiculous. It's like $400 or $500 to load the truck, and then they'll charge you another $60 for late payment fee if they don't get their money in like an hour. You know what I mean? So it's like you back in there, you deal with everybody, you get into the spot, the doors are open, they do their thing, they count it, they give you a bill, you send the bill to the broker's got to link up and pay them, and then generally you'll get an update from the lumper that it's been paid, and then that receipt will come to your phone, and then to go to the guard shack or whatever, and and then they'll verify that you're unloaded and sign your BOL that nothing's damaged, and give you a receipt for the lumper, because by then they could actually print out the lumper receipt, so that you leave with all your paperwork signed, all your receipts, the whole 9 yards. Take pictures of that, send it in, you know what I mean? Fill out your trip sheet, and that's how you get paid trucking. So after you're used to doing that, you know what I mean, called up AAA and be like, look, man, I got my house with you guys, got my cars with you guys, we've been doing business with you for 22 years, you know what I mean? Let's put this all together, then just let me pay you today. How much is that? Well, you're a good customer, blah, blah, blah. We need $3,700. But you can pay it out in 10 payments, not 12, blah, blah, blah. Let me just pay you today and give you $3,300. Well, I don't know if we can do that, blah, 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 this, that, whatever, yada, yada. I said, $3,400, I'll pay you right now. And he said, all right, we can do that. You know what I mean? So, if you got 5 cars on your insurance and a $600,000 house, you know what I mean, and you could do that and everything, and then you're going to have like your tags and your inspections and stuff like that. Well, that's going to run you another couple $100. So you're up to about hell, we'll just say 4,000. Okay, you divide that 4,000 by 12, that would be your what I would call escrow. But I put all that stuff together. I also add the frequency of oil changes, because I change all my oil in every vehicle at 3,000 miles, Mobil 1 full synthetic, and Prolong metal treatment oil additive. That makes the metal slicker. That's how you end up driving a Ram pickup without the tick, tick, ticking sound and all that. Even if the thermostat sticks and its stupid thing pukes everywhere and gets hot, I did not have to replace the motor. And I believe that that's due to the Prolong and the full synthetic. Now, that cost me almost $100 to change oil in that thing. Okay, well, it's one of 5 vehicles, and I'm out here driving this big truck. So, I mean, what are we doing? 20,000 miles, all vehicles spread out across. You know what I mean? And the average person drives 11,000 miles a year. You know what I mean? So it's me and my wife, right? So I'm not there. So that puts it like, if she's average, that's 11, and I'm there a little bit. So hell, we'll call it 15,000 miles. You divide that by 5 different vehicles, well, that's 3,000 miles. So that's like 1 oil change a year. Well, I generally do it twice a year in each vehicle. When it, like the spring rain and the snow flies, that's my maintenance schedule. And or over 3,000 in one of the vehicles. And so I do that or whatever. So, you got 500 in oil changes, because the pickup takes the most oil. It's about $100, but like the Subaru, full synthetic and everything in it, it's like 55. And we got an old man that has an oil change shop that changes our oil. You know what I mean? And I run a magnet on my oil filters. So just get you a magnet, stick it to the oil filter, talk to your guy, so my guy knows. Take the oil filter off, and then take the magnet off and then stick it on the new one and put it on there. That's the way I do it. And I take it to the same guy, and he gets a $5 to $20 tip, cash money, whatever's in my front pocket that day. And then we got another mechanic guy or whatever, and he always gets a $50 cash tip. Always. Now, I'm telling you right now, that dude has had stacked up around the block work. And I can call him right now and say, hey, my wife needs to bring the car in. It's making a squeaking sound or whatever. And he's like, sure, Skip, no problem. He will stop what he's doing. And as soon as my wife pulls in, he'll stop what he's doing and go over and just check her out. What's the squeak, squawk, whatever. And, you know, get an on-the-spot diagnosis in 5 minutes. You know, he'll get right in the car. He'll quit what he's doing, go over and get in the car, drive around the block, be like, yep, you know, it needs a wheel bearing or whatever. You know what I mean? And, yeah. But he knows every time I see that dude, he's getting a $50 bill. Okay, well, that makes a lot of sense if, like, you need your service fast. You know what I mean? So that's how you make connections and stuff like that. And, like on these big trucks or whatever else like that, you know, you want to have, if you're going to buy a truck, you got to have a maintenance guy. You've got to have a maintenance guy, and you got to have affiliates out here on the road to do your work. Because you break down, you call some random dude, it's going to get real expensive. And I mean, it could. I heard a guy break down and spent over $1,200 just to get towed to the guy that charged him $23,000, and then a week later he had to have the motor rebuilt again because it wasn't done right. And yeah, stories like that keep me pretty nervous. Anyway, all right, Rock Hill, you know. Oh my God! So that's the crows and what goes, and no problema. All right. Happy Thanksgiving. Rock Hill.